Welcome to the Blue Cafe. We offer stories of infidelity, betrayal, and redemption. Please like and subscribe. Cheers. Now, on to today's story. TIFU buying a 23andMe kit assuming my history is boring. My TIFU actually started 3 days ago, but background first. My dad was 56 and my mom was 46 when me and my twin sister were born. My dad died in 2007 when my twin sister and I were 12. He had been a heavy drinker and smoker since he was 10, passing at 69 following decades of very poor health, so it was mostly a relief when he died. My mom and dad were married in 1973 and tried for many years to have children until they had my sister and I in 1994. My mom only has us, but my dad had a son from a prior marriage who is about 30 years older than us, who I've met several times but we aren't close due to the age difference. He also had 2 daughters from another prior marriage that I had never met. I only know they live in California and first names. They also did not speak to my dad and didn't attend his funeral. As I've gotten older and had kids of my own, I became more curious about my dad's family. I asked my mom to no avail. She said she had no idea about why the girls didn't speak to my dad. She said she also didn't know how to contact them. I ordered a 23andMe kit to hopefully find my half-sisters and get some answers. Also, the idea of possibly being 1% black or Asian would have been cool. I'm white as can be. So I ordered the kit and 3 weeks later get my results. Unfortunately, I am not of any shocking ethnicity. 61.2% British actually, along with 20.7% French/German and other European makeup. What is surprising though is that I found 4 half-sisters. 2 more than I thought. My dad was not a picture of moralism, so it doesn't surprise me he had some unclaimed kids running around. So, excitedly, I click to see the names. Oddly, none of the names match my half-sisters I'm looking for. This means I have 6 half-sisters. Wow, Dad was kind of a whore, but this is still exciting. My twin and I immediately messaged them on the site. The first to reply we'll call Mary. She says she was born via IVF in 1992 in North Carolina. Mary also said the donor was a med student. Well, my mom is adamant my dad didn't donate to sperm banks and that he didn't live in the state she's from. So I'm thinking poor Mary doesn't know her mom is lying to her about an affair she had with my dad. I felt terrible for my mom, as well as this would definitely mean he cheated on my mom. Like I said, my dad was scummy. I just tell Mary that our father was actually in construction his whole life, so he or the agency was lying about med school. He dropped out in 7th grade. I sent her some pictures of my dad and my twin and I from childhood. We laugh about how much we look alike and say we could even be triplets. Later that evening, I got another message from another half-sister we'll call Tiffany. Tiffany says she was also conceived via IVF in 1993 in Pennsylvania. All she knows is her dad has blonde hair and green eyes and was a med student. I'm honestly so happy to see another IVF because this confirms my dad did use sperm banks and just didn't tell my mom. Which was shitty, but better than an affair. I send Tiffany pictures of my dad and tell her about him, and that's it. Then came last night. I'm shopping at IKEA with my friends, relaying this soap opera story to them. I'm telling them my theory about these sperm banks lying to their customers to get better prices. Telling people they're getting a blonde hair green-eyed med student when in reality they're getting a brown hair brown-eyed sheetrock worker. It's at this moment my friend Miranda said, you and your twin have blonde hair and green eyes. What if your dad isn't your dad and your mom also used IVF? At first I laughingly entertained the idea that it would make sense for my mom to need IVF because that makes way more sense than suddenly becoming pregnant at 46 and 56. I quickly realized, holy shit, that actually does make sense. Then came the obvious thought to probably everyone but me: how could a 55-year-old alcoholic chain smoker pass for a med student? It would have been 25 years since he could believably look under 35. unless they somehow had his sperm in storage for 30 years before using it, and the sperm banks in different states used the same lie about med school. It didn't seem likely. I also have type 1 diabetes and have no family history at all. Every doctor I've had tells me how unlucky I am because it is usually in the family tree and my chances of getting it were very low. I'm currently looking at my half-brother's pictures and he looks just like my dad but nothing like my sister, and I'm not even close. My mom has had a migraine throwing up the past 2 days since discussing this, but I assumed it was a coincidence. Now I'm thinking of nerves. I'm going to talk to my mom today, and if I get the answer I think I will, I'm going to message my new half-sisters apologizing for showing them their dad because he's actually none of our dads. Pretty sweet. My dad might be a doctor and not a raging alcoholic though, so that's cool. TLDR, I felt bad my 4 new half-sisters didn't know their father, but as it turns out, none of us know our father. Update, my mom admitted it. We are IVF babies. I texted my half-sisters this morning to let them know. This will be a great party story. Update 2, my half-sisters and I claim any and all movie rights to this and do not approve any unauthorized use of this story. Be cool, thanks guys. /s since some people can't understand, this was tongue-in-cheek. Also I am a girl. This post was a whole roller coaster ride. Pretty cool what DNA can tell you. This application here shows what your cells can tell you about your family history. Just imagine what medical science has yet to do with CRISPR. Just imagine what medical science would-be supervillains have yet to do with CRISPR. 2 words, super mutants. 3 words, crispy super mutants. Damn. My friend, almost 30 years old, found out his dad wasn't his bio-father through these DNA kits. Bought it for funsies and then had the shocking discovery that his father got with his mother while she was pregnant with another man's baby. His father knew the child wasn't his, but signed the birth certificate and raised my friend like his own all these years. His parents had planned to take that secret to the grave. These DNA kits are really throwing a wrench in these plans not to tell their kids about how they came about. My parents met when my mom was pregnant with my sister, which was a product of a date rape. My dad was told he wouldn't likely father children, and while my mom was considering her options, he told her he'd be my sister's dad. Imagine their surprise when I came along a year later. I looked just like him, there's no question. They sat my sister down when she was 12 and told her the truth. My mom won't ever say who her real father is, and my sister doesn't care. Our dad has always been both of ours and always will. I wish my parents and my sister had told my niece that she was a product of rape when she was that age. She begged them for years to tell her who her dad is, and they all just told her he was a nobody. They callously told her when she was 18 that she was a product of rape and that her biological father had been in prison for 15 years and had been deported to his country of origin after that. I'm sorry that your sister has to know that about her bio-father. I'm sorry that happened to your niece. I feel like my parents did the right thing, and it was a good age to do so. She took it much better than I did. My parents told her she can tell me when she's ready or not tell me if she doesn't want to. She told me a week later and I bawled. Not sure why. It helped that she had a dad her whole life and was never treated differently with extended family or anything. My sister has only been curious about her biological family within the last few years. She's 34. We just recently talked about her doing the 23andMe and she wants to do it. My mom could never know, she would be outraged. My parents raised my niece like their own. But they also always told her, once she was about 8 or 9, that my sister was her real mom. That must have been very confusing for her. I did not live close by, so there was nothing I could do about it. But my sister got married and never moved my niece to live with her and her other kids. My niece and my sister have a good relationship, thankfully. I hope there is not a lot of resentment on my niece's part for all of it. My parents are ignorant, simple people who don't really delve deep into the pool of emotions. I don't know if that makes sense, but that's just how I know how to explain them. They treated my niece well. They babied her the same way they babies my sister. I'm sorry your sister does not have your mom's support in doing the test. That is not really your mom's business to be getting upset about. Your sister has every right to know. I hope she changes her mind about it soon, because if your sister finds other siblings she is going to want to reach out to them. I wish your sister all the luck. You were so sweet to get so sentimental when your sister told you. I can see how that would make you so emotional. It is a weird feeling to see someone supporting the idea that someone would want to know their bio father when said father literally raped their mother. I mean, you're talking about a family that managed to raise someone that thought it was okay to date rape someone. Take the test to know about genetic issues, but maybe leave the actual family out of it. That's not for me or you to decide. That is a very personal issue, and it is totally up to that person to decide if they want to know if they have other family on that side. We don't know what she is looking for. We don't know what answers she wants to get or thinks she can get. We don't know that this is not her path to getting some closure about the situation. My niece is the product of rape, and while I am grateful that she does not want to explore that aspect of her bio family right now, I will support her in whatever she feels she needs to do. I will be there for her if she decides it was a mistake. I agree 100% in supporting the person on what they want to do. What I wasn't cool with was you telling an internet stranger that their sister will want to reach out to the other products of her mother's rapist. Maybe she will, maybe she won't, but it's not cool to tell someone you don't know what their sister will do and that their mom should get over it before she does. It's also pretty bullshit to tell someone that their mom should be okay with her daughter trying to get in contact with someone who raped her. Again, those are not mom's choices to make. Yes, it would be very painful for her, but the daughter is still allowed to make her own choices. Having a niece that I helped raise, in this exact scenario, I can tell you from experience. From my conversation with my sister, who was the one raped, she would not be happy about my niece looking into that part of her life, but as her daughter she said that she will be supportive. She has cautioned my niece enough, and now that my niece is an adult, she has been brutally honest with her about what happened to her. This has left my niece choosing, at least for now, not to look into that part of herself. But my sister said that she would never think of being anything than supportive of my niece if she decides to search for any other possible relatives. Think what you want. I don't really care. I think it's great that they told her at this age. She's at a young enough age that she won't be angry at them for not telling her sooner, but old enough to understand what it actually means. Has your sister talked about how she feels about being the result of rape? Seems very heavy. Not really, she's just happy she wasn't aborted. Fair enough. Not like she'd have an opinion if she was. TIFU buying a 23andMe kit assuming my family history is boring. Update S link to original post. So when all this went down, my sister and I asked my mom to take a DNA test as well. She agreed. As it turns out, my mom is not my biological mom. As I said before, it makes no difference to me because my mom is my mom no matter what. Here is the kicker though. My mom was wholeheartedly under the impression her eggs were used in her IVF treatment. She is contacting her doctor, who is still in practice, to figure out what the hell this means. I'm actually sort of sad for my mom. I didn't consider this as an option in the realm of possibility. We are her daughters of course, but I can't imagine finding out at her age with adult kids that your biological line actually ends with you. So yeah, guess that's all I have for now. TLDR, mom is not my mom and she is more shocked than I am. Edit, I talked to my mom this morning and she's okay, thank goodness. She said we're still her babies. I discussed the idea of hiring a lawyer with her. She said she still has her IVF paperwork somewhere, so she is looking for it. Her paper hoarding may come in handy this once. I'm just happy she is alright. Only a child here from donor sperm, did a DNA test, now I have 30 other half-brothers and sisters. I'm happy. doesn't matter, one of your cousins will get tested and someone will connect the dots. There's a whole lot of privacy concerns from this stuff, for exactly this reason. Without consent, your relatives can give up some pretty intimate information about your genetics. And addresses and locations and family facts and shit. I have thousands of cousins in America. And I am pretty sure they aren't all great. I have siblings that aren't great. As in, when mom got cancer, I was her 24/7 caregiver for 2 years, 8 months. My sister, the nurse, was a caregiver for a whole 2 days while I was out of town for a lawsuit. My brother didn't do shit. He lived 40 minutes away, but came out to her farm just 6 times in the last year of her life. Instead, focus on the ones that really are great. I think I saw something in the news about making America great again. Yeah, that involves getting rid of fear and indifference in our American civics, but that isn't happening anytime soon with shitty leadership. It doesn't take perfect people to make a more perfect union. Great again. What a load of shit. So much winning, you just wait. Although when it's used to solve a crime, it's a damn good thing. It becomes no less a violation of privacy no matter what the use is. We hope you have enjoyed today's episode. Please comment, like and subscribe. Cheers. Have a wonderful day or night, wherever you are.